My name is Madeleine McGee, and this is CMAmeets Together SC. My name is Madeleine McGee, and I am the president of Together South Carolina, which is the statewide network for nonprofits and their allies doing good throughout South Carolina. So we are a membership organization serving nonprofits, philanthropic, and community organizations, 501c3 if you want the technical term, throughout the state. And for those 700 to 800 members, and in fact all nonprofits and folks caring about their communities, we provide a number of resources. We're here to help you learn how to do the work you want to do, whether it's serving as a professional on the staff of a nonprofit, whether it's serving as a volunteer board member on a nonprofit, or any other aspect of community leadership. In addition to resources to help you learn how to do the job, we have resources to help you advocate for the work you're doing at the state level, and we offer convenings and networking so you can build your alliances with those that are doing good work. And we also offer some very practical resources to help you run your nonprofit, whether it's healthcare for your employees or resources for running and creating a better website. We do not deliver services to individuals or communities. We are like a chamber of commerce in that we are the advocacy arm and the convening arm and the capacity building arm for the nonprofits who do deliver services to individuals and communities. So you would not call us if you needed help with your electricity bill, but you might call one of our members. And we work hard to connect Dominion Energy, Duke Energy, with nonprofits that are offering services like help with your energy bill. It's funny, we've thought about that, but no, there are not standards. You do have to be a 501c3, you do have to file your annual reports with the IRS and with the Secretary of State's office. We do a check to make sure you're meeting with those legal standards that others require of nonprofits. The nonprofit sector is absolutely concentrated in the larger cities, the Charleston area, the Columbia area, Greenville, Spartanburg, and to a lesser degree in the second-tier cities. The challenges in serving rural South Carolina, and we are working hard to make that happen by encouraging some of the nonprofits in our state to start working regionally. So instead of just working in Florence, working in the entire PD. Instead of just working in Charleston, reaching out to Hampton and Jasper counties, because that makes sense. The Boys and Girls Club has done a great job of doing that, and they work regionally, as do a number of other nonprofits. Well, the philanthropic and nonprofit community has seen significant change in the last 30 years. We were started because there were senses that people did not have the resources they needed. So people don't have food, let's give them food. People don't have housing, let's try and find housing. And what we have done is to try and move from a mindset of meeting immediate needs to understanding the systemic inequities that cause those needs. And so much of those, the communities that are faced with inequities are the communities of color in our state. And there's a reason for that. There was much history around how policy was set that caused inequities in our system. For example, the banks very clearly redlined communities and said, we do not want to lend to homeowners in these communities that may be predominantly Black, or often predominantly Black owned. So the chance for me to get a loan to buy a house was much more easier than the chance for you to get a loan to buy a home. That's a systemic inequity. We, as a nonprofit sector, can't say we're trying to solve the problem of housing without addressing those kind of policies. And so we are working more on that. But what I really want to encourage your listeners to consider is the opportunity to work for nonprofits. because as we moved into trying to really understand the inequities and tackle them, we need people with what we call lived experience, who could say, I know what this is about because I've been there, and I know how to solve this problem because I've lived it. And I am thrilled to say that our sector has some of the best and the brightest Black and leaders of color in the state. Our board is now over 50% leaders of color. We have a network that we call Black Nonprofit Leaders. And so there's a lot of job opportunity. And we have a job site on Together SCs with career opportunities. I would encourage people who think they might want to work for a nonprofit to go and serve there. We also have a board placement site, Board Strong, where people who would like to serve on boards can put their resume and find boards that are looking for people. So I think board service and pursuing careers are great opportunities for your constituents to get involved in the nonprofit sector. The impact of their leadership in the nonprofit sector is phenomenal. We are doing such better work because of the leaders who have joined us of late, and the leaders with lived experience and leaders of color. So come on, join us. So togethersc.org, you can sign up for Good Connections, which is our every other week e-news that pulls together all the news about the nonprofit sector, and in a very lengthy email, shares job opportunities, celebrates accomplishments, grant opportunities, celebrates leaders that are in positions of welcomes new leaders. It's a great read if you're interested in learning about the nonprofit sector, and that's free for anyone who wants to sign up. So I would encourage people to go to Together SC, sign up for the newsletter, and then if you are with a nonprofit organization, if you're just getting started, there's no need to join. We're there to support you regardless. But if you've got a full-time employee and you'd like that employee to maybe be able to get healthcare benefits or more training or be part of our CEO network, please consider joining as a member. We also want to offer a phenomenal program in the fall of each year with Charles Weathers for new execs, nonprofit CEOs. That is a great way to get started. So there's lots happening. Have I ever thought about starting a nonprofit? I have spent my entire career in the nonprofit sector. My very first job out of college was for a small town revitalization program in Georgetown, South Carolina. And then I ran the Navy base project in Charleston for a number of years. And then I went for a community foundation. And now I'm serving on a board. But no, I do not think I would start a nonprofit. There are so many great nonprofits out there that it's hard for me to imagine that there's a cause or a community need that someone isn't already addressing. And I think when we join forces and we collaborate and we bring our skills to bear to help others that are already tackling a problem, we're going to have more success. You know, we say and we have a whole page on starting a nonprofit. If you go to Together SC, there are lots of resources, but we say it's like having a child. And it's not something you should do unless you plan to spend the next 20 or 30 years sustaining that child and building that child and that organization and helping it grow, because it can be a lifelong commitment to start a nonprofit. Particularly if you say my community needs a resource, it may be easier to find someone in a nearby community that's providing that resource and say, can I help you expand to serve my community? That's what we think is really the opportunity for rural areas, is then you don't have to have that infrastructure, because your nonprofit is like a business, right? So you've got to have the bookkeeper, you got to have the fundraiser, you got to have all this support, and then there's doing the program work. And so often CEOs say, I want to do the work. And when you start a nonprofit, you end up doing the administrative work and you don't get to do the work in the community. So if you can find another organization whose mission aligns and they can give you the back office support, then you can do what you do best, which is to be out in your community, promoting and providing the service. Thank you so much for listening. I'm Madeleine McGee, and this is CMAmeets Together SC.